Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's Wallsend history story. This week is another outdoor video, and I have to be totally honest and say that I am not massively happy with it, but I'm hoping that you will find it interesting and that you will enjoy it. Now, what it is it's a little walk to the top of the pit heap at the rising sun. Now, when I first recorded this, I did make a mistake, which is, well, I didn't actually make a mistake. It was basically I walked up the path I've always walked up to get to the top of the pit heap. However, haven't been up there for something like 10 years or something like that. And the path was very, very different. And I got so far up and thought I was going the wrong way. So I came back down, ended up going up another path. So that's why you'll hear me saying that in the video. And I also made a little video coming down from the top of the pit heap, which I did intend to add on to another video, which I'm not actually going to use now. So I just basically thought I should mention that before I put this on, before you watch it. But anyway, I hope you'll enjoy it. I hope you'll find it interesting. I hope you'll enjoy it even just for the views from the top of the pit heap. So that's all I'm going to say for the moment. There are 3 short little videos all added together. So for the moment, I will see you in a bit. Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's Wallsend history story. So I am filming outside, and after a bit of a false start before and going up a path that had completely changed from the last time I was here and not being able to find my way to the top, we are now trying to go up here. Now this is a lot steeper, so I don't know whether we'll make it or not, but we're going to give it a go and see what happens to get to the top of the pit heap at the rising sun. So walking up here, you can actually see in the ground, you can see some little bits of what appear to be coal, and there will be a lot of coal around because obviously it was a colliery. So hopefully I'll get to the top of this bank. I'm aiming to be over there somewhere, so we shall see what happens, because the path that I was on previously, which I'm sure does still take you to the top, it just seemed really confusing when we were going up it. That path was a lot less steep than what this one is, but we'll see what happens. So that over there is kind of where I'm aiming to be. You see an awful lot of tree roots as well. So, as I said in my false start video, which I may actually put on, I don't know, we'll see, this was once the Rising Sun Colliery, and it is pretty hard to believe that this was a colliery once, but it certainly doesn't look like it now, does it? When you're looking around, all you're seeing is trees and fields. So there's not a lot that I can actually say, because obviously there's not a lot to see, but it'll be nicer, hopefully, when we get to the top. But each step that you take, you come higher up and you get to see a bit more of the area. You can see some horses in the fields over there. You can see a lot of people walking their dogs, and you can also see a bit of the farm over there, I think. So I'm continuing on this path because that path is the path that brings you down. So I'm going on the one that takes you up. And now that we're here, I've realised that before we were kind of on the right path. It was just that I couldn't find this bit from the changes from where I was last up here, and I do feel a bit sort of puffed out because that was quite steep, that bit that I've just walked up. So it is quite a nice view even just from here. You know, you can see over there. You probably can't see it. I can see it. I don't know whether you can, but you can see the college at Battle Hill. So, just showing you the scenery there again. And I have just seen somebody walking their dog who we saw before, and if we had stayed on that path we would have ended up at the top of the pit heap. But never mind, it's like I say, very different to when I was last here with my dad several years ago. So it's quite quiet at the moment because there's not very many people around. It's usually quite busy because it is a very popular dog walking place, and it's also very popular for people just coming out for walks, you know. It's somewhere that surprisingly is right in the middle of the town to some extent, but it's also very peaceful and quiet, and it's kind of like being in the countryside. So I think we're still going up. We're on a slightly less steep bank at the moment than what we were on before. So I think we are still going up over. But as I say, there's not a lot you can say because really all you've got to talk about are trees. So you can see some buildings over there. I can't remember what that is. I think that's at the Cobalt, I think. I can see the top of the pit heap. Once upon a time, you could see the pit heap from the houses in Wallsend. It was huge, and there's some old photos of a couple of the ship launches where it's been taken from the heaven side of the water, and you can actually see the pit heap in the distance. So I think that's some more coal, possibly. There's a lot of slate as well, so it's hard to tell the difference sometimes. So I think we're getting ever closer to the top. So I hope this isn't too boring, because obviously I know it's like a nice sort of walk, but it's not like seeing streets and houses and places where you used to live. So I hope it's not too boring for everybody watching. But you can see how much higher up we are now. And there's the farm. So onwards and upwards, literally. So I've actually put my coat on because it's the end of September, and a couple of days recently it hasn't been very warm, but I am actually sweating, but that's probably because I've been walking up a bank. So I can see we're footpath ahead. You can see it turning and heading towards the top, and I've just walked into a bush. I'm very good for walking into things, but I can actually see the top. We are nearly there. I don't know if you can hear the birds twittering. You can probably hear me huffing and puffing. So I actually think that the footpath that I was on before is actually the footpath that's going to come out up here in a minute. So, gosh, it's tiring. So yes, that there is a footpath that I was on that I didn't think was taking us to the top, but it was. Never mind. So there you go. You get an amazing view up here. Like I say, you can see all of the new houses over there on Station Road that all used to be fields once upon a time, and now it's all houses. And over there you can see Newcastle, and in the distance, it's not very clear because it's quite a dark afternoon, but in the distance over there you can actually see St James's Park. There's some sun shining on a hill miles away, and you can see the flats over the other side of the water. So we're going to go right up to the very top of the colliery pit heap. And there's a seat at the top. I think I need it. So even though it's a very minor amount of wind blowing today, up here it's quite windy. So there you go. There's a fabulous view from up here. And returning back to that view, which is all just houses, but I have to say that I've kind of had to move away from the edge because I have a massive fear of heights, and that just looks really scary, that drop down the side there. So we are now right on the very top. So just a quick view all the way around so you can see everywhere. I'm trying to move slowly because sometimes I move really quickly, and I know that it's quite nasty when that shows up in the film. So there you go, that's a view all the way round. You can see for miles, and I can see Penshore Monument, but it's behind the block of flats in the distance, and I doubt you can see it. And I don't want to zoom up on the camera because I've done that before and it's turned this stupid video recorder off. But you can see Penshore Monument just behind the block of flats, just in the distance there. So there's a little seat over here which I'm going to plonk me bum on for 5 minutes before I walk back down. So I hope that you have found this little video interesting. Like I say, there's not a lot that I can say because it's all just fields, trees and things like that, but I hope that it was worth sticking with me through the video to get to the end to see the view. I mean, that for a lot of people will be quite strange to see, because I know a lot of people will never have seen all the houses over there. And I mean, there really is lots and lots and lots of houses over there now, and that was all once fields. And I mean, obviously you can't see anything on that side, boat houses. You can't see Asda's hidden. So that's where I'm going to leave this one. So I hope you've enjoyed this little walk. Like I say, I hope the view at the top's been worth sticking with the walk up the bank, and I hope you found it interesting, and I will see you all again next week. Just trying to zoom in onto Penshaw Monument. I don't know if you can see that, but I hope that you can. It's quite out of focus from what I can see because the zoom is really quite hard to zoom that, but I hope that you can see Penshaw Monument in the distance. So I'm just adding this little video on to the video where I walked the wrong footpath, which turned out to not be the wrong footpath. So I'm just adding this one on as I'm walking down the pit heap. So this is basically where everything went that was dug out of the collieries when the collieries were here. And if you've watched the one from the top of the bank, you will know that it is really high up. So they really did dig a lot out. It's quite wide as well. But I'm going to walk down here and then we're going to head back towards the car. But I just thought I'd put this little video on, just coming down the bank to add on to the other video. Nothing exciting. Again, as I've said before, there's not a lot to see. It's just all fields and stuff, but it was once a thriving colliery, and it was worked. There was a lot of people worked here, and I know there's probably people watching this who did have family who worked at the Rising Sun colliery. There may be some people watching this who remember when it was the colliery. I don't think I ever came up this way when the colliery was here. So at another time when I get a chance, I will come round and I'll do a little film round where the hospital was, which is now the visitor centre, but I'm not going to get a chance, I don't think, to get that done for a little while, but I will get that done at some point in time because obviously that's where the hospital was. So I hope that people might find that one interesting as well. So nearly at the bottom, and when I get to the bottom, that's where I'm going to leave this one, and I'll just, like I say, add this on to the not mistake video. I should have stuck with my convictions and gone up the path that I thought I was on the right path. It's just massively changed from when I came up 8 years ago, and I think it just really confused us, but not to worry, I got there in the end. That we did have to ask somebody if we were going in the right direction, which is not good, but you know, that's what happens sometimes. So we're nearly at the bottom now, so we're going to head back to the car, and it is actually very, very sort of dull and overcast, and the sky's quite dark, and I did think it was going to rain, but it's actually okay. We've managed to get up there and get that filmed before it rained, so that was quite good. So I'm just going to come down to this little footpath, and I think you go over a little bridge, so I'm just going to actually go and have a look to see if I've at least got one memory right from when I was last here and last walked up here. I can hear a lot of dogs barking. I feel like I'm walking really fast, but I don't seem to be getting anywhere quickly. I seem to be just going just as slowly as I was before. I think I've just caught the microphone. So a little bit muddy there. Yeah, there is. There's like a little bridge there. that you go over, and then when you come out here you are pretty much back onto the main road, which will take you round to the farm. So at least I got something right, at least I remembered something. So another time, like I say, we will come up and do a little video up round by the hospital, but that's where I'm going to leave this one. So thank you all for watching.